You know, I've been doing a lot of thinking lately. Um, Good thing about my depressive spell that I just came out of recently is that it gave me a lot of time to think. Um, I spent a little bit too much time thinking and not enough time doing a lot of times. But the good thing is that during my time of being depressed, I was trying to figure out why. Because I'm not always aware of why I'm sad. Not because there's not a reason, but oftentimes I am tricked and fooled and bamboozled into thinking that my sadness, my depression, is caused by something a little bit more, surface level. You know, oh, well, I don't have the money that I want. I don't have the career that I want. I don't have the body that I want. I don't have this. I don't have that. It's always I don't have. It's always uh, it's usually material, right? When I start thinking about being sad, I'm like, well, my depression is clearly because, I don't have the things that I want. Of course I'm sad, right? And that's a very surface level way of looking at things. But I think I really did myself a disservice. And I think that a lot of other people do themselves a disservice because I have realized that it was deeper than that. I've realized that it was deeper than that. And it's really just a confidence issue, right? I, um, I have struggled with low self esteem pretty much my entire adult life. And I don't like that. I don't like that, and I would like to change that. And I'm trying to change that. I'm working towards changing that. And I realize the number one reason why I struggle with self esteem, with confidence. And I got to be honest with you, it's going to sound kind of cringe to some of you, but just hear me out for a second, right? My parents, my grandparents, they were right, bro. They were fucking right. It's the goddamn phones. It's the fucking phones, bro. I mean, you're probably watching this on a phone right now. I would imagine I'm recording this on a phone. But, don't get me wrong, I love technology. I love technology. I love the internet. I spend all my time on the internet. I love YouTube. I love it. I love YouTube. I love Instagram. I love this stuff, right? Like I said in the last video, right? I'm a doom scroller. But I I spend too much time on the internet and not enough time out here, right? Being on third shift, the number one thing that it did to me, and the number one reason that it fucked with my mental health, was it took me away from all of this. It took me away from nature. It took me away from the sunlight, from the trees, from the sky. It took me away from all of this. And that's why I started to spiral. I mean, you see how pale I am, right? I'm still trying to get unpale. I'm trying to spend a little bit more time in the sun so that I can unpale myself because I got really fucking pale. I was already pale to begin with, right? I was already pure white, pretty pasty to begin with, but it's gotten worse. I mean, it got to the point where my eyes were like, I had like raccoon eyes. They were dark, they were all sunken in. I would look at myself in the mirror and just be like, damn, bro, I look like death. I lost myself, man. I After a while I was like, who is this person that I'm staring at? This is not me. I got to get the fuck out of here. So I did. I made the best decision for me. I know there's a lot of older folks, and no fault to them, no disrespect to them, that probably on the surface they think I made the wrong decision, but I know in my heart of hearts, deep down, that I made the best decision for me. I say that to say that I think I let society and the world and the internet, definitely the internet, convince me that money is like the most important thing. And it's important. Don't get me wrong. I mean, making money, like I've said before, is very important. I love money. We all love money. Everybody loves money, right? But I think your health and your overall peace of mind is much more important than money. And there's a lot of things that money can't buy. Money can't buy real goddamn love and companionship, right? But this ties back into social media addiction because, like I said before, people show you the highlight reel, right? They show you the surface level stuff, right? You don't see what goes on when the camera's off. You don't see what people go through when they're not on camera. You know, you see these Instagram models, for instance, or these kids that are like 22, 23, 24, who are like, you know, rolling around in their fucking Ferrari and their mansions and all of this stuff. You see all of this and you think to yourself, man, here I am. And I work a dead end job and I live with my mom and I hate my life. And that's kind of where I was. I was like thinking to myself, where in the fuck did my life go wrong? What happened? And, you know, I think timelines are a very dangerous thing in general. Not saying that everybody needs to aspire to be a rich person or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying, right? As a matter of fact, fuck the Ferrari mansion thing. That's like 1 to 5% of the population. Let's just talk about careers, for instance. Maybe you just, you know, you're my age, for instance, and you want a career, right? And you've been working dead end job to dead end job for the past 8 to 10 years, like me. And you're finally getting to the point where you're like, son of a bitch, I gotta fix this. I gotta do something different. Because that's really what it boils down to, is you just got to do something different. And you don't have the confidence because you feel like you're too old. And that's where I was. I have a whole video about this on my channel, actually. And I watched it the other day. I rewatched, because I went through about a week ago, probably. I went through and I watched some of my old videos to try to get inspired again, because I knew I wanted to get back in front of a camera. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, right? I knew I wanted to get back in front of a camera, so I, you know, was like trying to get inspired. I was trying to use myself for some inspiration. And I have video from, you know, maybe a month ago, or not a month ago, I'm sorry. I'm delirious. I have a video from like forever ago. This was like a couple of years ago, actually, like late 2024, maybe. Well, no, it was early 2025, I believe. I have a video up on my channel where I essentially said, you know, stop trying to put a timeline on yourself. Like, okay, you're 30 and you're starting over. So what? Who cares? You know, 30 is young. People, you know, there's a saying going around that, you know, 30 is the new 20. And I agree with that. Like, people get to a certain age and they're like, son of a bitch. What have I done? What have I done with my life? And I think sometimes, oftentimes, the later you start, you actually give yourself a head start because you have experience, you have knowledge. You know, you've learned some stuff And now you could take the lessons that you've learned from your fuck ups and from your failures and apply them to present day, right? There's a lot of people who settle into a career when they're 22, 23, and then they have a midlife crisis by the time they're 35, 40, because they realize that they set up a life that they didn't really want. And then conversely, whoa, shit. Go away. Fuck you. Bitch. I'm going to edit that part out. There's people who, conversely, you know, they fuck up for years. They spend years, like myself, you know, just making, again and again, making stupid mistakes in their 20s. And they ain't got it all together. And I certainly do not have it all together. And I'm still trying to get it all together. And that was why I got depressed. Because here I am staring down 30, really. I mean, I'm going to be 29 in December. I'll be 30 next December. So I'll be 30 in less than 2 years. And it fucks with me sometimes where I'm like, oh, fuck, what have I done? I wasted my youth, you know? I haven't wasted my youth. I've got another decade before I'm considered old. And if you're watching this right now and you're 30 even, 28, 29, 30, you've got another decade before you're like old, bro. And even 40 is considered middle-aged. You know, there's people who start over at 40, 45, 50 even. So it's like, this is why I don't think humans should keep track of their age, right? I think humans keeping track of their age to a very large extent is a dangerous affliction, because then they start comparing themselves to other people who are younger than them that they perceive to be more successful and to have more than them. And comparison is the killer of joy. I know that sounds cliche, but it's like a fucking, you know, a Pinterest catchphrase or whatever. It's like a, you know, a fucking woo-woo, new agey catchphrase, and it sounds kind of like, you know, cliche or whatever to a lot of people. People might think it's corny, but it's true. It's just true. I mean, the more I compare myself to other people and their successes and what they've got going on, the more miserable I feel about myself, you know? I think that when people limit their screen time and they really go within and figure out what it is that they want, that's when they start to have realizations of like, okay, no, this is what I want. When people get off the internet and they really start to go within, they start to figure out who they are. Right. And that's what I've started doing, is limiting my screen time, taking a step back, getting away from all the chaos and all the noise, and trying to just kind of be like, okay, what kind of life do I want for myself? Not what does society want, you know? Not what does society think somebody my age should be doing. Not what does my family want, or what do my friends think. What do I want? Right? There's a lot of pressure to, you know, be a super successful person, to have a career, and it's like, I think as long as you genuinely love what you do and you're happy doing what you do, then who cares? You know? Whether you're making, you know, 80K a year or 100K a year or 30K a year or 20K a year. It's like, if you're happy, you're happy. You know? Because you could have all the money and all the resources in the world, but if you're not happy, then it doesn't mean anything. You know? So no, I think that confidence just comes from finding something to be confident in. You know? Because I genuinely believe that everybody has a gift. You do yourself a huge disservice by not using your gift. Not using the thing that's inside of you that was created for you, that's been in you since birth. You do yourself a huge disservice, and you do your friends and your family and your peers, you do all of them a disservice by the whole world. You do the whole world a disservice by not, you know, honing your gifts and whatever it may be. And it doesn't have to be a career, it could be a hobby, even, because everyone's different, right? Everybody's got their own thing and their own priorities. But I just think that people just really need to worry about themselves and what they have going on and stop trying to compare themselves to all these people that they see on the internet, because it's not real. Everybody, even the people who you think live these amazing fucking extraordinary lives, they're not always happy. They're not always doing great. A lot of them are. A lot of them are very happy, but many of them aren't, you know? And then conversely, you know, somebody that you see who's driving an old beat up Toyota and lives in squalor in a trailer park somewhere, he might be the happiest motherfucker you've ever met in your entire life. He loves his life. Works at the local grocery store. He doesn't make a lot of money, but he makes enough to get by. And, hell, he may even be on government assistance, but he didn't care. He's living his best life. He's not comparing himself to other people. He's just, living a good life, he or she or, whoever. And I think it's really about perspective. A lot of it is a mindset, um, you know? But anyway, I'm going to wrap up this video. I just wanted to give you all some encouragement today. And I hope that you can take this message and perceive this message because, man, the world is sick right now. This country is sick. This country is mentally ill. I could go on a whole soapbox about how fucked up we are and how bad things are, but I don't want to get worked up. All I'm going to say is that you are amazing the way that you are. If there's things you want to change about yourself, then change them. But change it because you want to change it. Don't change it because the world and society is trying to pressure you to be somebody. Because you're already someone. You're already somebody. You're you. So it's like, just be you, If you want to be a better version of you, then do that. If you don't, fucking don't. It's your life. It's your decision. It's your life. That's all I got.